Thank you, Governor Orr. She said a little while ago when she gave us some advice that she was the grandma giving advice. I think a lot of things of that woman, but I will not call her grandma. When I was 14 years old, the first political campaign I ever worked on was Kay Orr's campaign to become the first Republican woman governor in America, and it's still one of the proudest bits of political experience I've ever had. So I got to campaign for Kay back in the mid-'80s. Last week, Governor Orr hosted a rally for us in North Platte, and she invited along Governor Palin and Senators Mike Lee and Ted Cruz, and a number of faces here were out at that rally in North Platte, and we would love to be partnering with them and with you to recover freedom for our grandkids. We have a moral to leave this country as great and free and opportunity-filled for the next generation as we were blessed to inherit from our grandparents, and that's what I'm fighting for. I know all of you are fighting for. This microphone is undecided about whether it's going to fight for that or just go out on us for good. It is a terrible moment in American history when we had our president in January say that if the Congress won't pass the laws that he wishes they would pass, it's not that big of a deal because he has a pen and he has a phone. Our founders wouldn't be able to make sense of a statement like that. We live in a world where we were blessed to inherit an American system with 3 separate but equal branches of government, whereas our nephews and nieces learn on Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday morning, we write our laws in the legislature, not in the executive branch. And then ultimately, our kids serve a world where the center of the world is Elmwood Park and is Omaha and Beatrice and Seward and Nebraska City, not Washington, D.C. Right now, thanks a lot. Gone yet? No worries. We had founders who had the wisdom to see. How we doing? All right, we're back. Thank you. Very good. Kind of you. Our founders knew that the consolidation of power is a danger, and that's why they gave us a 9th and 10th Amendment that reminds us that we don't look to government to give us rights. God gives us rights by nature, and we, the people, come together to secure those rights. That's the great verb at the beginning of the Constitution, that we, the people, in order to secure our natural and inalienable rights, we give the government authorities. The government doesn't give us rights. Our founders were having a big, bold public conversation with the original Tea Party in Boston in the 1770s on through to the drafting of the Constitution in Philadelphia in the 1780s, and their argument was bold. They said throughout most of human history, people have been confused about the nature of governance and the nature of freedom. And most people have believed that they need to wait on the government to give them rights. The king was the guy who had a monopoly on power, and might made right. The king was free because he controlled the levers of power and the mechanisms of power, and the people were dependent subjects waiting on the king to give them permission. So if you wanted to start a small business, you had to go and supplicate before the king and his court and see if he would give you a charter to start that business. The American founders said, this isn't right. This doesn't comport with the dignity of people created in the image of God. We believe that people exist to live out a life of gratitude by serving in their local communities, and freedom comes first. And so in the American system, the people are free, and we give the government rights. When you look at Obamacare, which isn't just 2,300 pages of legislation that they passed without reading. Remember Nancy Pelosi, when she was Speaker, said they needed to pass the law to find out what was in it. I don't know what they thought their job was, but it's also 22,000 pages of implementing regs, where you stack them up, and it's 9.5 feet of paper. And everyone right now, every company trying to just serve in their local community thinks they have to hire lobbyists to go to Washington, D.C. to be able to navigate the special interests and the carve-outs of all that it takes to navigate those 22,000 pages. We, the people, know that the center of life is Omaha, not Washington, and right now a river of money flows there, and we need to stop that and return power to the people. I am running, I'm a 42-year-old non-politician, and I'm running across the 93 states of this county, and I want to give you a report which is incredibly optimistic. Washington is a scary place, usurping its authorities and overreaching into daily life. But across all 93 counties of our state, our people know that they want to return power to the people. And I am incredibly gratified to have been endorsed this morning by the Farm Bureau of Nebraska. It is only the second time in the 100-year history of the Farm Bureau that they've ever endorsed in a statewide primary. The last time was Governor Heineman in 2006. And their process is driven by the Farm Bureau organizations across 88 counties. And across all of those counties, you hear the same clarion call, which is we, the people, need to recover the power and remind the government that they work for us, we don't work for or wait on them. No one has fought Obamacare longer or harder than I have, and I will continue to take that fight forward beyond the next 13 days. And I just want to thank you all for coming out here today and for all that you do to fight for freedom. And thank you to Tea Party Express for sponsoring this rally. Thanks for coming.